It's Percent Poppy, you dig? For today's trade, we did a PLTR 140 call. I got 45% on this trade. Before I go to the recap of the trade, I just want to say this. I want you all to focus on the percent. That's why I call myself Percent Poppy. Comparison is a thief of joy, and a lot of times you may compare your money to somebody else. I say 45%. All right, that means for every $100 I put up, I made $45. I got 70%. That means for every $100 I made $70. All right, so the percent, think of it as $100. Whatever that percent says, that's how much money you would have made off of each 100. There's a reason why I always cover the money. It's because I don't want you to focus on the dollar amount. Everybody's money is relative. So for instance, if I have $10,000 and I made 10% on the trade, that means I made $1,000. This person has $100 and they made 10% on the trade, they made $10. They're both 10%. But of course, you're going to look at the 1,000 and say, oh my God, why didn't I get that? Of course, they made more because they put in more money, but you made the exact same percentage. Focus on a percent of each trade. That's how you know you're a good trader. So in options, the only thing you care about is choosing the correct direction. All right, so you have calls and you have puts. Calls mean the stock is bullish. That means people are buying up the stock, and that's why the stock price is increasing. Puts, this is where the bears are selling the stock, and this is why the stock price is going down. All throughout the day, the bulls and the bears are fighting. The stock price is going up, it's going down, all right, because they're fighting. So in this case, I got a call. So that means I believe the stock is going to be bullish or increase based on my technical analysis. So when you're charting, you have something called support and resistance. Going up, I'm looking at the indicators or these lines as resistances. Resistance means that it's my ceiling. And in order for the stock to continue in that direction, I have to push through or break through that ceiling. In order to break through the ceiling, I need a lot of volume. Volume is the amount of shares that have been bought or sold in a set period of time. Each of these candles represent 5 minutes. So again, the volume represents the 5 minutes of that time frame. So you see this rectangle part? All right, that's the body of the candle. So the longer the body of the candle, that means the more volume you have. Again, that means it's more likely to go in the direction that you want or break through that resistance or support. I have this green line, that's my orb high, and I have this orange line, that is my pivot. All right, so these serve as different indicators or resistances in this case because they're above my candle. They're impeding my progress. So because I have a lot of volume, it is breaking through this resistance, breaking through that ceiling. All right, so this is going in the direction that I want. And I haven't entered yet. Why haven't I entered yet? Because I need confirmation. I need to make sure that it's going to continue my direction. These next candles are continuation. So it broke through. That's the break candle. All right. Now I have this one. I have to make sure that I hold the position. Came back down. What it do? So this wick right here, that means at some point the bears were winning. And then what happened? The bulls came in and they're pushing it up. I did not enter in this candle because I'm still waiting. I really want to enter, but I'm going to wait until the candle closes. It's going to give me the confirmation. Once this candle closed and this candle opened up, that is when I entered this trade. Entered the trade at 9:35. And it cost me 1.75. So in options, whatever number that is, you have to multiply it by 100 or move the decimal twice to the right. So for each contract that I bought, I paid $175. So if this went up $10 and I bought 5 contracts, that means I made 10 times 5, which is 50. I'm in the trade. Cool. Now it's shooting in my direction, right? If it's going down, and it's kind of just chilling, right? It's still chilling. It's not really moving. And at this point, I'm telling the Discord, then 10%, 15%. All right. And honestly, I feel like you could take profit at any point, again, because the way this market has been choppy this week, hey, 10 to 15, 10 to 20%, sometimes is what you're going to get. But we're holding on to our plan. I'm going to trim that first 10%. Trim means I'm selling some contract to secure profit, but I'm still in a position. Increasing. All right. And I told them, I said it has room to the pivot at 139.52. And this right here is the pivot. All right, so then this pivot right here serves as the next resistance. So before I reach this point, this orange line, that means I have room to go. Look over here, it's like 138. I have a whole $1.50 to move upwards, right, till it reaches that resistance. So if it doesn't have enough volume, that means that it could potentially reject, which it did right here in these red candles. So the candles are still increasing. And at this point, I'm saying 22%, 30%, 33%. Feel free to take profit. Feel free to take profit at any point in time. Money is money. Profit is profit. The goal is to be green. 37%. We're approaching the pivot. That's the resistance I was talking about. Feel free to exit or at least trim. So I'm telling them, all right, go ahead and secure some of your profit. This candle right here, you see that orange line? I'm approaching that resistance. It doesn't necessarily have to touch it in order for it to reject. And again, it needs a lot of volume if it's going to continue in that direction. But again, because you know there's a resistance coming up, you might want to take your profit. 40%, 43%, trim that 45%, only have one runner left. All right, so runner means it's just like you sold majority of your profits and you just have one contract left. You letting it do what it do. I got out right here, got out at 9:49. That's why I let them know that I was out of my trade. 45% on the trade, it only took 14 minutes. You see what happened right here? As soon as we exited, what happened? It rejected. Why? Because that resistance didn't have enough volume. So we got out the trade in just the perfect time. So if you're interested in learning how to trade options, I want you to go ahead and put wealth inside the comments and let's get this money.